Well, good. But he still tried to do something about hunting, your hunting license, we'll skip over that. He says, oh, by the way, would you like to introduce me at the Toots Carlton Award? So I had to think about it for a little bit. I started thinking, Costa Rica. So, but tonight we get to honor a true citizen that reflects the Toots Carlton Award. Many know that Bill, aka Uncle Bill, as my daughter would call him, wears many hats and is responsible for a very large dealership here in Wallace. But tonight, I'm going to let you know who the real Bill Crone is. This story starts in Rhode Island. He was part of a fraternity. I'm not sure that fraternity's still there anymore, but they probably shut it down after he left. Then travels to Alaska, where he started the deadliest catch. And it ends at Topsail Island. That's our journey. Bill was an adventurous person during college, and then traveled to Alaska, lived in a tent after college. That's the way to aspire. He worked in the crab and salmon industry. He was the Yankee that cleaned up after all the daily catches. Not a great idea to smell like a grizzly bear's favorite food while living in a tent in Alaska. Now getting back to how Bill got here tonight. A couple of years ago, Bill and his family and my family started spending weekends in Topsail Island, fishing, hanging at the sandbar, kind of do what we do. But it was a couple of fishing trips that Bill and I had together that showed he can face adversity. Many conversations were about GM deciding he wasn't allowed to have his dealership in Warsaw. But I think GM just unleashed the beast. The beast has turned a small town dealership into a thriving business that employs all walks of life and is one of the heartbeats of Wallace. I never got to meet Mr. Rufus, but I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to that New York boy out of being a potato farmer and marrying Susan. I'm sure Susan on some days questions what Bill is doing, but I know Rufus will be proud to see what Bill has built and become in the auto industry and as a husband and a father. Now let's talk about the man, as Duke Times has deemed him. I think Bill was a little worried when he was the Grand Marshal of the Christmas parade and the Toots Carlton recipient this year. Yet still young, he was starting to think maybe he was getting up there in age. So I've learned a couple of important things about Bill. Never let Bill drive the second leg of a road trip. Never let him meet your siblings after he didn't drive that second leg of the road trip. And never, ever let him wear a shirt that is 5 times too small. There are pictures of that if anybody would like to know. If it's a small fee, give it to a donation, good choice. But best of all, let him do what he does best, and that's supporting the town of Wallace and the community of Duplin County. Every year he does so much for the kids of Duplin County and supports the Parks and Rec program for the town of Wallace. In closing, I want to let everybody know the man does so much more than just sell cars. He gives back to back to whatever the need is for the community. So as my kids, and so many more call him, I want to introduce to you Uncle Bill, the 2016 Toots Carlton